Hi, I'm Phil Bridges, owner of Straight Arrow Repair. Ever want to know how a repairman fixes things? Well, come with me and I'll show you how I solve problems. Let's make things better together. Where I want them. The next thing I'll do is cut my sheet full length. I'll measure where the floor joists are, mark that on my sheet, and then I have a water line to deal with and this toilet flange. Toilet flanges have taught me a lot of lessons. So what you do is you take all that wax off. If you notice, we put stuff inside there. You can be cloth, it can be plastic in this case, to keep what? The smell from the sewer, from the septic tank, from coming up into the room. It literally will burn your eyes. It's so bad. And some really unusual smells. So I'm pulling this old wax ring off so I can show you how this works. Now, you wouldn't want to cut around the edge here because there actually are screws that hold this flange to the floor. We'll have to pull that out. Now, you'd think you could cut right to that edge there, but you know what? If you reach under here, there's your screws that have the ability to hold it to the floor. And quite often you'll have a little bit of particle board that was cut. This Phillips head generally, and I believe there's usually 4. You can put more. You tend to want to be careful. You can pre-drill holes. Say if your flange got broken, you want to fasten it another place. You can pre-drill holes and then do it, or you can run your screw in backwards, like an 1.5" screw like this. Run it backwards and sort of like make its own drill bit. If you don't, it'll have a tendency. It won't always. To break if you get anywhere close to this edge, so it'll break the flange even more, particularly if it's an old weathered flange. So what I was going to show you is, if you look in here, that this sloped right there, so you wouldn't want to get your width on that all the way out to this edge, because if you feel under here, there's a slope, and it literally comes up to about right there. So we want to be able to fasten with the screws there. So we gotta make sure that we're about a 1/2 inch away from the outside edge, maybe a little less, 3/8. So it's important that we get it centered right, and it needs to be able to sit on the plywood. So what I'm gonna do first is go out there, cut the full length, then I'll mark the floor joist, and then we'll come in here and I'll show you how I measure that. 31 3/4, my stud that I forgot, or that stud, floor joist. Alright, so we said we need to be about 3/8 beyond. So the inside is 4 and 1/16, but so that'll be 3/8, 3/8 is 3/4, 4 3/4 hole. We need a 4 3/4. We just might give it a little bit more than that. That's a 4 3/4 circle. So we need to find the centers. How would I do that? Alright. I'm going to measure from this wall. And I slide it over to it, and where the center of it is 13 5/8. So this way is 13 5/8. We need to know what this way is. So I'm going to put up against this plywood. 9 1/4. Okay, we also have this to deal with. So 15 1/2 that way, 7 3/4. No, that's going to be like a 1 inch by 1 inch. If I have a paddle bit, I can just, after I mark the center, I can just mark it. Drill it right there. All right, let's go out there and mark it. All right. 15 1/2. And 7 3/4. Floor joist is there. Now, nine 1/4 over and you can take it, mark it 2 different places, mark a line through, or you can do what I did, and then 13 5/8 there. That is our center. Now, they make compasses that you can buy for drywall. You get one. I'll show you one. I believe this was at a thrift store. I was kind of surprised. This one has a suction cup. You would not want to have to buy this one for doing plywood, but they make one for drywall. And what it does is the one for drywall, you have your measurements right here and you just adjust it back and forth like this one. But this one, you set it in the center and you go around and mark it. It's way fancier, and I just couldn't resist it because it was $4.75. And that would normally be $30. Maybe more. Because it's brass and suction cup, so you can mark glass. Or cut glass, you got the right. Anyway, if you don't have that compass, we said that our width that we would give it 3/8 all the way around was 4 3/4. All right, so half of 4 3/4 is 2 3/8. So we have our tape measure, and we go 2 3/8. Make a mark right there. 2 3/8 right there. That's your center at 2 3/8, so we'll go 4 3/4 over here. Two 3/8, 4 3/4, 2 3/8, 4 3/4. 2 3/8, 4 3/4. See how I've got almost, I can kind of freehand it, but you want to, you can put more.
Or have a compass.
More lines to go to. And then you just mark in between them, circular. And I'm gonna give it room whenever I cut it. I'm not gonna cut right on that line. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So that would actually be closer to 5. But I know that this is my hole and this is the location that it needs to be. Now, I have to figure out how to get this in. What I could do, and I will do, is if you try to go around this round part to here, you won't be able to get it around the pipe. So what I'll do is I'll go from here to here. lots of traffic on this road today. Okay, and there's a floor joist there, and we have more wood here, so we can literally just go straight through like that. Now, I can either go down to here and then go on that floor joist there, which would be pretty strong, but I'd end up with a lot of flimsy area right where the person stands. So what I would rather do is go back over to the floor joist here, which is the center here. And that way I can slip this piece in. It'll be a little difficult, but nowhere near as difficult as trying to. So what I would normally, if I wanted to do this all in one piece with no cuts, I'd have to cut this pipe if there was room, put in a coupling, put it back, make sure there was cut enough to allow for the coupling to space of it, and then we'd be flat on the floor. But don't have to do that. I can do it this way. Slip this piece in first. Remember, I didn't go past the halfway point too much. And slip this big piece in here. And then I'll slip this piece in. Before I do that though, I'm gonna cut. Now I can drill with a paddle bit all these places, but I gotta cut it anyway. Happens to be my sawhorses there too. So now I have the ability to get this battery powered Ryobi or any other battery powered, or you can do it electric, which I have. Every tool I have that's battery powered, I have an electric one in the truck, because these you never know when you don't have battery charged up, you need to get it done. Okay, and then I gotta get this part. Came loose. Alright, we'll come back when we get it. That'll probably be hot. Okay. Take all this in there and put it in. Now, we've got I left this off so I'd have someplace I could stand, but we've got to take out more of this just to get this in. When we get that done, we'll show you as I put it in, how it goes. That was a journey.
You want to explain to them?
We had to bend this to get this in. What I probably should do is cut from here over to here, and it would have went in a lot easier. But it is in. Now we're fastening everything, and we'll go to lunch. Steel bridges. If you like what you saw, you think it might be helpful to somebody else, push that like button and let other people know what you and I now know. And we'll work together toward making a brighter future. And by the way, we're not Americans, we're Americans. See you next time.